Okay, I'd like to share something very special with you. I've been looking for one of these for years and I've managed to finally find one in immaculate condition. This is the very first style of electric jug ever used in Australia. Australia and New Zealand were the only two countries that boiled water in ceramic pottery jugs that were electrified. And this is known as a rapid, and as you can see, it's a rapid underneath there. This is immaculate. It hasn't had a lot of use over the years. Painted by the General Electric Corporation of Australia. Now it's most unusual. It has only a single sort of spiraling element with two connecting pins that lock into the top of this. And as you can see, it's not in bad condition. There's no marks or anything around there. It tells you where the front is. And you just pop it on there like that and it should sort of lock in. And it's screwed in at the top. This is all pottery, ceramic. Now, back in the 1920s or earlier, probably up to the 1940s, safety wasn't a huge consideration with electric appliances, but as you can see, the pins for connection are just on the top. There's no security or safety or anything. This was the style of connection that you had. A lot of people would have seen these. It's not quite the right size, so I've got a sort of, it was obviously a wider one, but it does sit on there like that, and then you just plug it into the wall. And that's how it would have been. So if water got splashed up on there or water splashed out of a sink or something into there, it could short that out. Or kids could come up and just lift that off a little bit and touch it. There was absolutely no security. And it's not working. You've sort of got to give it a bit of a jiggle for the connections to connect, which is very typical. But it's now boiling away. It's immaculate. It's got little ribbing around there. It's very well made. The ceramics stayed very, very good on it. As I said, 1921, the very first electric jug that was used in Australia. It's loud, but it does actually boil very quickly. But as you can see, that's how it worked. The connection just bunged in the top like that. And back in those days, houses didn't have power points. Power points wasn't something that was commonplace till probably the mid to late 30s, or mid 30s probably. So what would happen is this connection here would have a bayonet fitting on it that you would plug up into. You'd take that light globe out and you'd plug it up into there, and you would use the power from the light source. And most houses would have a dining room with one light coming down, and they would have a bayonet that fitted into that with 2 or 3 connections, and they would run the kettle and the toaster and the iron off it. And of course you had fuses getting blown and houses catching fire and all sorts of stuff, because that's what it was like back then. It wasn't until people learned about electricity and how it worked that more and more safety came into existence. But there it is, 1921. Rapid by General Electric Australia, patented in Australia. So it's 104 years old. It still works, still boils water, but not the safest thing on the earth. It's getting very loud, you can probably hear it. But back in its day, like today, people like to have, Audis or, a VW Amarok or whatever. If you had one of these, you were somebody. People that had electric appliances in their house, if you can see, it is steamy. People that had electric appliances in their house, something like this, they were wealthy. Probably would have cost as much as a month's salary to buy something like this. And that's probably why this is in such good condition. It's probably the people that were bought for, it might have been a wedding present or something, probably didn't have electricity. So it got stuck in a cupboard somewhere and, passed down through the ages. And of course, as times changed, it became unsafe. and that's probably why it's in such good condition, because it just hasn't had hardly any use. It's just amazingly clean. So there you go. That's a 1921. You can see that electric heater, Rapid painted it. Only in Australia. This one, only in Australia. There is another one that came out that's got brown, a sort of a browny colour around here, similar to that. So there was brown and blue. I've not seen any other colours. And there was also the same Rapid that came out with what they called, it had a rhyme on there about boiling water and whatever, which was very common in those days to do things like that. It was still very traditional, you know, to make it look beautiful with all this ribbing and stuff and high gloss and beautiful handle. That was how things were made back then. Today it's just all whacked in a mould and whatever. That's why it's lasted 100 years and it still looks like new. Interesting piece, and I'm happy I've got it.